Hello, my dear friends. Hope you all be fine and doing well. Thank you so much for joining me again. My dear friends, this is the fourth video of traps. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can trap your opponent. If your opponent plays against you the Sicilian defense. So let's dive into the game. So my dear friends, you just simply push the pawn into e4. For example, if your opponent decides to push the pawn into c5 and it is called Sicilian defense. So your opponent is preparing to play Sicilian defense against you. So now you have the base move and you can trap your opponent if he plays the Sicilian defense against you. So in here, my dear friends, you just simply push the pawn into b4. If your opponent, for example, if he takes, he is not taking, this is not a good move for your opponent to take the pawn because now you are pushing the pawn and you have control in the center. So that's why your opponent is not going to take your pawn. So it is not a good idea for your opponent. So that's why he is not going to take that pawn. So when you are pushing this pawn, and here your opponent simply pushing the pawn into e6. Your opponent is pushing the pawn into 6. For example, if you take this pawn as you are taking this pawn because this is part of your trap. So your opponent is taking this pawn by his bishop and activating his bishop. So in here you just have to push the pawn into d4 and attack to your opponent bishop. Your opponent, if he gives check, so you are simply pushing the pawn. So it is not a big issue for you. So that's why the best move for your opponent is taking the bishop into b6. So now you have the best move and that is pushing the pawn into c3. So your opponent is pushing the pawn and he wants to break your center, but you are not allowing him by pushing the pawn into e5. So when you see in this position, your opponent has not active move. So the best move in here for your opponent is to taking the knight into e7. Your opponent cannot take his knight into f6 because you are taking by your pawn. That is why your opponent is deciding to take his bishop into e7. So now in here, you have to place your bishop into d3 and preparing and activating your pieces. For example, if your opponent goes to castle as he is going, so now you have to take your knight into f3. So now if your opponent takes the knight into c6, and here you have the best move. So my dear friends, can you find the best move in here? So please pause the video for 1 minute or maximum 2 minutes. If you are able to find the move, that's okay. If you are not able to find, I'm going to explain all the lines in details. So in here, my dear friends, you have the best move and that is sacrificing your bishop. You have to take the pawn into h7. So your opponent is accepting your sacrifice. So now you have the best move and that is giving a check by your knight. Majority of players, they are going to skip in this way because you have this move. Maybe you are asking this question, why our opponent cannot come to g6? Because you have this fantastic move. And also, for example, if he push the pawn, so now you are taking the pawn and giving a fantastic check. You are attacking to the queen as well. So this is a check. For example, if he goes here, now you are giving this check. So your opponent is coming here. So now you are simply taking the queen. So that's why, my dear friends, your opponent is not bringing his king into g3 because of that previous lines I showed you. So that's why what is your opponent is doing in here? So your opponent is simply taking his king into g8. And now you have the best move. And that is placing your queen into h5 and threatening your opponent to checkmate. And here your opponent does not have any other active move. For example, if your opponent pushed the pawn in here, so simply you are giving check and mate by your queen. And your opponent cannot go this squares because it is controlled by your knight and by your queen. So when you are bringing your queen into h5, so there is only one base move for your opponent, and that is taking the rook into e8. For example, if you give this check, so your opponent is coming here, and now you have the best move. Remember, my dear friends, you should not give this check. You should not give this check because your opponent is covering this check by his knight. So the best move in here, when you are taking your queen into h7, so in here you have to place your bishop into a3, and also in here, see my dear friends, you pinned your opponent knight. Now if you give the check by your queen, so in here your opponent cannot cover this check by his knight because you already pinned the knight. Your opponent has only this move, so again it doesn't help either. So you are taking this by your bishop. Again you are threatening to checkmate your opponent. Maybe in here your opponent, the only hope is to sacrifice his queen. Again you are accepting his sacrifice. Again there is nothing to help him. For example, he has only one hope. Maybe there is no hope. For example, if he brings his rook, this is the only chance for him. Again you have this fantastic checkmate by your queen, and your opponent cannot go anywhere. As I said that this knight is pinned by your bishop. So thank you so much, my dear friends, for watching the video. If you're interested in this video, please subscribe the channel, share it with your friends. So in this way, you are motivating me to make lots of good videos in the future. So see you in the next video.